Hello guys. Welcome back to my channel. I still owe you the hookup culture and purity culture. And I want you to know there's something very, very interesting about the hookup culture and the purity culture. It is closely related to fear, and hookup culture is about alcohol. But it's interesting how it goes, but I will definitely read it to you guys and we'll discuss it. But today I want to talk to you about soul ties. I feel that charismatic Christians and the new apostolic reformation or whatever it is, it's part of the charismatic. They preach the soul ties, and I cannot stand soul ties. Do not tell me soul ties is biblical. It is not biblical. Don't put it out there. You know, if you're charismatic and you're going around telling people soul ties is biblical, it's not biblical. Please stop that madness. Stop it right there. Stop it right there. Because if we have soul ties, that means we have soul ties with our best friends, with our new book. We have a soul tie with the computer. No. You might have feelings for it, a feeling of not willing to get rid of something or let go, but it is not a soul tie. It's not soul tying you to nothing. It's called, you have to make a decision with God, helping you out, whether you don't believe in God or not. But soul ties is a new age concept. Let me tell you again, soul ties is a new age concept. Don't let anybody tell you a soul tie, okay? If they say soul tie, it's not biblical. I don't care how much you're going to preach to me about it. It's not biblical. Because your mama and your daddy could not marry somebody else because it was a soul tie. Now, you might have some residue or some things that they taught you or you've inquired imparted into in your own heart or belief. But a soul tie is not biblical. Please don't tell me that. Don't preach that anymore, please. Soul ties are not biblical. Stop the madness. I don't care. It is not biblical. It's new age. Just like if you declare and decree, it's not biblical. That's not scriptural. Just please, soul ties. I just want to tell you, soul ties are not biblical. I want to keep telling you, soul ties are not biblical. Please stop the madness. Stop the madness. Quit telling me that. Soul ties are not biblical. I just wanted to let you guys know. So, if you part of the religious community and you go around saying soul ties are biblical, it is not. Because that would mean King David, because everybody likes to use this. King David had a soul tie with Jonathan. Well, he was his best friend. He probably had other friends. That would mean, if he had a soul tie, that means, when people say soul ties, that means you cannot have other friends. That would be like me saying, I have a soul tie with Barbara, which means I can't have friendship with somebody else. Do you see that? No. You might have some things that they've imprinted into your life and into your soul that you have taken on their habits. Now, you can say a habit can be part of you. A habit that they gave you can be part of you. But don't say it's a soul tie. Please don't say that. I cringe. I know it's part of me being part of the charismatic community here in Oklahoma, where I learned that too when I went through a program about soul ties. I was afraid. I remember commanding and decreeing and manifesting and praying that I wouldn't have a soul tie. That is tiring. I don't believe your soul could get so tired praying against a soul tie. I didn't have soul ties. I broke up some friendships because I thought I had a soul tie. Because I was under the influence of some lady that said I had a soul tie. So I basically cut off friendship with people and broke off, and it wasn't necessary. Because it wasn't a soul tie. It was not a soul tie. I remember I was about 32 or 33 when I did that. And I was just like, I ruined some friendships over that, and I shouldn't have. Because I believed in a soul tie. And I think I think we add on extra biblical stuff, and I think that's why so many people are deconstructing from Christianity, is because we're adding extra biblical stuff that's not even in there. Don't add it. Because we're already, people are already saying, well, I don't want to believe in the Bible, because but it's because we're adding on. Don't add on. It's just like, don't add on things. We add on too many things. We add on too many rules and regulations, and I hate it, I think that's a lot of times why I was struggling with church stuff, because I feel like people add on stuff. It's not necessary. And I find myself fighting stuff when they say, I don't know if it's because I don't doubt my faith or anything. It's just, I'll be like, Because I feel like God wants us to connect with Him with pure intentions, with a pure heart. Well, we don't have, who can know it's desperately wicked. But I don't want to put on, soul ties are, we got a soul tie. Because you just makes your eyes roll back in your head and you'd be like, whatever. So I just wanted to say that soul ties are not biblical. Please don't tell me that. I will come and show me, because God would have said, hey, you know what, soul ties? Because I'm trying to figure out where, okay, I know God says that, He, David said He knitted me in my mother's womb. Okay, but if you had a soul tie to your mama, that means you'd be married to your mama. So, I don't know why people preach that kind of lie. That's lies, okay? I'm going to put in, even though I'm not sure how I feel, I'm going to put in a video about Doreen Virtue. I'm not advocating for Doreen Virtue or just saying you have to follow her, but she's coming from a new age perspective. I mean, you got to be a little bit leery of people. But she was talking about how soul ties are not biblical. It's not. Be quiet. Soul ties are not biblical. Please, please, stop that. Stop that madness. I mean, I'm probably sure one of my pastor Transformation Church probably says soul ties are biblical. But they're not. Because it keeps you so, under this judgment and these rules. And, I think it's about making better decisions about who you connect with, asking God daily, who do I need to connect with? You might make a mistake. And that mistake, you learn from it. But don't be telling me soul ties are biblical. Because you'll be like, oh, that's why I'm stuck with this person. No, that's not it. Your heart got comfortable. I feel like I would say my heart got comfortable with this person. I felt like I was connected. And I think that's what happens, because you have a deep loyalty, a love for somebody, and you connect, And sometimes I feel like, even with me in my dating life, I've been like, well, did I have a soul tie? No. But then I've been upset with myself for not being so connected and just being like, okay, well, that's it. It's because I decided to put a boundary. That's what it is. If you don't have a boundary, yes, it can tie you up. It can tie you up because you are afraid to leave. Now, I can't tell. Now, for other people who have been in relationships, married, I don't know. I'm not going to speak about that. I'm just speaking from my perspective. Before I enter a relationship, I try to make sure that they're right. But sometimes I make some mistakes. I did it recently where I started dating a guy and I was like, yes. And then all of a sudden, I felt like I need to get out of this. I was ready to go, and I couldn't figure out why, because he treated me right. Treated me okay. Except I had to do a lot of driving on this date thing. A lot of driving. He didn't ever pick me up. He never offered to pick me up. The only time he picked me up if I was meeting him somewhere or anywhere. Anyway. But so, don't tell me about a soul tie. I think what happens is that you allow yourself to be connected to the wrong people. Or you decide, you make a decision. It's sort of like you make a decision to be who you want to be friends with. But, the Christianese will make you feel that, well, you connected and you got a soul tie. You got to break it off. Well, maybe so. But it's about not allowing God to be like, okay, God, I don't know what to do with this person I have just connected myself to, and I thought I needed. That's when I guess you constantly ask God, have I connected to the right person? Am I connected to the right person? And if you're not, then you need to go. So I don't know. I just thought I'd talk about the soul ties are not biblical. But yeah, I'm going to do some more research on that. But I feel like it's not biblical. And it makes us Christian women, we look real weird saying soul ties are biblical. Don't tell me they're biblical. Please don't tell me they're biblical. It's like, you tell me that they're biblical, please. Find the scripture where, and I know what you're going to do. You're going to find that quote about David connected. Well, yes, because he was like a brother to him. And yes, he's connected. Like he was like family to him. I mean, when you think about it, David married Michal, Saul's daughter. So yes, there was a tie. It was met by marriage. And then he had Jonathan as his, brother-in-law. And then see, I don't remember how that happened. I guess, yeah, because he married. So yeah, they were like family. That's how it could be. They were like family. And I think that's really what God was saying, is that he's like your family. He's like your brother. When your brothers were just like, oh, you too small. I know you can't, so. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of quickly go on here and talk about, like, I don't believe why our soul ties biblical. I don't feel that they are. You got to prove it to me. And I think the only way you're going to prove it to me is keep telling me about David. Please don't tell me about David. Just stop right there. I'll be like, laughing at you. Not laughing at you. Laughing with you. But being like, no, that's not it. Don't tell me that. Because it doesn't make sense to me to tell me, soul ties are biblical. Because it's not about a soul tie when you're struggling with what to decide. It's about because you have built a strong, loyal connection with that person. That's just like the same thing with a friendship. You've been with a friendship, but you realize, okay, well, yes, it was beneficial for a time. It has been beneficial for a time. And it could be the season, That's all it is. It's the season that you're with somebody, and then when that season's over with, God has given them. You just have to be like, well, Lord, I thank you for what they've brought into my life, and I thank you if this, this connection should end, then, okay. And it's the same thing for people who are not, saved. I hope that you will become saved by my lifestyle, or just know that I'm human. But, it's just about making a decision to do something, connect with. You have choices. And one thing about God is that he's given us a choice to connect or disconnect with people. So like I said, my rant is that don't tell me soul ties are biblical. Do not tell me that. I will laugh in your face. Like, I'll be like, ha ha ha, oh, baby girl, why? Or baby boy, no. Because if soul ties were so biblical, I would think men who claim to be Christians when they're dating would think better about the women that they date and take that in consideration. Like they would take that in consideration. They wouldn't just be like, I'm done, or you got to give me this. They would take that in consideration, and women would too. Like they wouldn't just date people and they'd be like, I'm done. But I think a lot of times people just don't know. And I'm like, when you date people, you don't know. When you become friends, you don't know. It's about a daily thing of like, hey, should I connect? Because there's friendships that you've had where you're like, well, that didn't work out. It's because, they served a time and that was it. But anyway. So anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for listening to why I think soul ties are not biblical. Because they're not. All right. Have a great Saturday. Bye.